In the heart of a bustling African town, there lived a man named Adebayo, a wealthy merchant known for his generosity and mysterious aura. Adebayo's life was an open book, or so it seemed. He was a devoted father, a loving husband, and a respected community leader. Yet, one fateful evening, he gathered his family in their grand courtyard and made an announcement that chilled them to the bone. "I must return to my village," he said, his voice calm yet resolute. His wife, Adebayo, and his children exchanged puzzled glances. No one in the family had ever heard of this village. Adebayo had always claimed to be an orphan, raised by the streets of the very town they lived in. "Where is this village, Baba?" his eldest son, Kunle, asked cautiously. Adebayo's dark eyes seemed to gleam unnaturally in the fading light. "It is a place known to none of you, and it is better that way. Do not follow me. Do not seek it. This is a journey I must take alone." And with that, he left, vanishing into the night like a shadow dissolving into darkness. Adebayo's destination was a place whispered about in old tales but marked on no map. It was called the Forest of Spirits. Nestled deep within the ancient African wilderness, it appeared to outsiders as a quaint and vibrant village, full of life and celebration. But beneath the surface lay a chilling truth: the inhabitants of the Forest of Spirits were not human. They were Jinns, spirits cloaked in human form, bound by an ancient covenant. Adebayo was one of them, though he had long concealed his true nature from his family and the world. Every decade, he was compelled to return to the village to partake in the Great Spirit Festival, a sacred ritual that strengthened their bond to the spirit realm. This year's festival, however, was different. The villagers had grown restless. Outsiders, uninvited guests, had begun stumbling upon their secret haven. Tourists, travelers, and adventurers lured by the rumors of the village's beauty would arrive, ignorant of the danger that awaited them. The Jinns, bound by their ancient laws, could not abide the presence of these intruders during their sacred time. On the first night of the festival, the air in the Forest of Spirits buzzed with energy. Drums pounded like thunder, and fires lit up the night sky. To an outsider, it was enchanting. To the villagers, it was a call to war. A group of curious travelers had arrived that day, drawn by tales of the village's mystical allure. They were welcomed with smiles, but beneath those smiles lay something sinister. As the festival reached its peak, the true nature of the villagers revealed itself. Their human forms melted away, replaced by shadowy, otherworldly shapes with glowing eyes and tall hands. The unsuspecting visitors realized too late that the warmth of the village masked a deadly secret. One by one, they were hunted down, their cries swallowed by the pounding drums. But the spirit's rage did not stop there. Empowered by the festival, the Jinns turned their wrath outward, venturing beyond their hidden village for the first time in centuries. Nearby towns were plunged into chaos as the spirits unleashed their fury, striking down anyone they encountered. Among the chaos, Kunle and Adebayo, fearing for Adebayo's safety, defied his warning and set out to find him. They followed a trail of whispers and eerie sightings until they reached the Forest of Spirits. The village seemed abandoned, its once vibrant festival grounds littered with ash and bones. There, in the heart of the village, they found Adebayo, not as the man they knew, but as an ethereal being, his form shimmering like smoke under the moonlight. "Why have you come?" he asked, his voice carrying both sorrow and power. "You are our father, our husband," Adebayo said firmly. "We will not leave you, no matter what you are." Adebayo's eyes softened, but the danger was far from over. The other spirits, sensing the presence of humans, closed in like a storm. Adebayo made a choice. He raised his hands, summoning a power that had lain dormant within him for decades. A bright light erupted from his form, casting the spirits into the shadows and shielding his family. "You must go," he said, his voice breaking. "I cannot leave this place, but you must leave. Tell the world of the Forest of Spirits, so no one else dares come here." Adebayo and Kunle fled, their hearts heavy with grief and wonder. They returned to their town, carrying with them a tale that no one dared to dismiss as mere folklore. The Forest of Spirits faded once more into obscurity, hidden in the depths of the wilderness. But the story of the Village of Spirits lived on, a chilling reminder of the unknown forces that linger just beyond the edges of our world. Years passed since the fateful night Kunle and Adebayo escaped the forest of spirits, the village of spirits. The story of the Jinns, beings of shadow and power, spread across the land, becoming a tale parents whisper to warn their children about the dangers of curiosity. But for Kunle, now a man hardened by time, the story was not a mere warning. It was his reality, one he could never escape. Haunted by dreams of his father's glowing, otherworldly form, Kunle grew restless. The whispers of the forest of spirits refused to fade, their echoes carried by the wind. He felt a pull, a force he couldn't resist, calling him back to the forbidden village. Meanwhile, strange events began to ripple across the region. Villagers in nearby towns reported seeing ghostly figures in the woods, their glowing eyes watching from the shadows. Cattle went missing, crops withered overnight, and the air carried an unnatural chill. It seemed the spirits of the forest of spirits had returned, their anger no longer confined to their hidden enclave. Kunle knew he couldn't ignore the signs. If the Jinns were breaching the boundaries of their cursed village, then the world was in danger. Kunle set out on his journey, armed with nothing but his courage and a mysterious artifact his father had left behind, a carved ivory pendant inscribed with ancient symbols. Adebayo, now frail but still sharp, had told him it was a protective charm, an anchor to the human world. "Remember, my son," she had said, her voice trembling, "the spirits are bound by rules older than time. If you can find the source of their rage, you might stop them. But be wary, no one who has entered the forest of spirits twice has ever returned." Kunle's path led him through dense forest and treacherous terrain until he found himself at the edge of the village. The air was thick with an unnatural silence, broken only by the occasional rustling of unseen figures. The village appeared as he remembered it, quaint, vibrant, yet cloaked in an aura of foreboding. As Kunle ventured deeper into the forest of spirits, he discovered that the village was in disarray. The Jinns, once united by their ancient covenant, were now divided. Some had grown weary of their isolation and sought to reclaim the world they had abandoned centuries ago. Others, bound by loyalty to their traditions, resisted this rebellion. Kunle was captured by a group of the rebel Jinns, who dragged him to the village square. There, he saw his father, Adebayo, standing at the center of a heated confrontation. His father's form was still otherworldly, his eyes glowing with an intensity that betrayed his sorrow and anger. "You should not have come back," Adebayo said, his voice heavy with emotion. "I had no choice," Kunle replied. "The spirits are spreading beyond the village. People are suffering. I need to stop this." Adebayo turned to the rebel leader, a towering figure cloaked in shifting shadows. "This is not the way," he said. "Our existence was meant to remain hidden. If we bring chaos to the human world, we doom ourselves as well." The leader laughed, his voice echoing like 1,000 whispers. "You speak of tradition, Adebayo, but tradition has brought us nothing but isolation and decay. The human world is ours to reclaim." Adebayo stepped forward, his form glowing brighter as he drew on his full power. "If you will not listen to reason, then I will stop you myself." The rebels surged forward, their forms twisting into monstrous shapes. Kunle, clutching the ivory pendant, felt its warmth spreading through him. To his astonishment, the pendant began to glow, forming a barrier of light that shielded him from the Jinns' attacks. "Kunle," Adebayo shouted. "The pendant holds the key to sealing the village. You must reach the sacred altar at the heart of the forest of spirits. Go now." Kunle hesitated, torn between helping his father and fulfilling his mission. But Adebayo's fierce gaze left no room for doubt. "Go." With the rebels distracted, Kunle sprinted toward the altar, guided by an unseen force. The forest seemed to come alive, branches clawing at him, shadows whispering in his ears. But the pendant's light cut through the darkness, leading him to a massive stone altar inscribed with ancient runes. Kunle placed the pendant on the altar, and a surge of energy erupted from it. The ground trembled as the runes began to glow, and a deafening roar filled the air. A golden dome of light began to form around the village, growing stronger with each passing second. Back in the square, Adebayo fought fiercely against the rebels, his form flickering as he poured all his energy into holding them back. When the dome's light reached its peak, he turned to Kunle one last time, his face filled with pride and sadness. "Tell your mother I kept my promise," he said, his voice barely audible. And then, with a blinding flash, the dome sealed the forest of spirits, trapping the spirits within and cutting them off from the human world forever. Kunle awoke on the outskirts of the forest, the pendant now a dull, lifeless stone in his hand. He returned home, carrying the weight of his father's sacrifice and the knowledge that the world was safe, at least for now. Though the forest of spirits was hidden once more, its story lived on through Kunle. He became a storyteller, sharing the tale of the hidden village and the spirits within, warning all who would listen to respect the boundaries between the seen and the unseen. But deep in the forest, the golden dome shimmered faintly, a reminder that the spirits of the forest of spirits were not gone, merely waiting.